Welcome everyone. My name is Eltimar and we are going to be beginning a Let's Play of Sunless Skies. This is a game that you may or may not recall we did an early access for in January, and a little bit earlier I believe. It's finally been released, and we're going to play the full game through. It's had several patches already, because apparently some of the quests were a little broken, and there were typos, and so on. But anyways, we are going to get started right away here. I just wanted to note that this game is a successor to Sunless Skies. So if you are familiar with Sunless Skies and know that it is an atmospheric, story-driven game, this game will be much the same. If you don't like atmospheric, story-driven games, this probably is not going to be the playthrough for you. Let's get started. We can play a legacy campaign or a merciful campaign. The merciful campaign lets you reload if you die or continue with the new captain, whereas the legacy campaign, if you die, you can only continue with a new captain. I'm going to go with the legacy because that is the way it should be. Aiming assistance, we're going to leave off. Enemy projectile speed, we can make it stately, so it can be slower, measured, even more slower, or standard. I'm just going to go standard, that's fine. Supply consumption. Fuel and supply are consumed at the default rate. Sorry, I had a bit of a sneeze, I had to hold it in there. We can make it provident. Fuel and supplies last much longer. If you're finding it hard to survive or earn money, this should help. Thrifty. Fuel and supplies last longer, making it a little easier to survive and prosper. I'm going to put it on thrifty. Fuel and supplies is something that are kind of annoying to watch out for, even though they are important for the game itself. The log of Her Majesty's locomotive, the Orphine, March 14th, 1905. Our expedition to the domains of the dead have been eventful. The Orphine is damaged and in grievous need of repairs and supplies. We are returning in haste to the Reach, where I hope to make port at New Winchester. May God be with us, for 1,000 deaths wait in the sky. The final entry of Captain Amelia Charity Whitlock, DCM, written shortly before her death. I guess she doesn't have a happy ending in this story. Fail Better Games presents Alright, here we are. We're at the Blue Kingdom Transit Relay. Forward, backwards, left and right. One thing you might want to note that is a little bit different. You've returned to the Reach, an untamed sunless span of the heavens, London's new frontier. A celestial garden run wild, is that you have momentum in this game, so when you can actually turn and continue going in the same direction to some extent. There is some friction in the space apparently that allows you to slow gradually. Dodge! Oh god, we're gonna hit that thing! And that's how you can dodge, see? Your journey back from the Blue Kingdom was tumultuous. Your locomotive is damaged and Captain Whitlock is badly wounded. Hello, Captain Whitlock, the girl from the story, alright. As first officer, the crew look to you. The nearest station is New Winchester. Can you get the Orphine there safely? Well, I will certainly try, good sirs. And ma'ams. We are scavenging. Much to the relief of your stokers, you find a barrel of fuel among the detritus. Excellent. The Ozymandias. A wreck drifts here, less fortunate even than you. We should scavenge her for repairs, a crewman suggests. Good call, crewman. The wreck hangs in the sky, pocked with recent gunfire. You and the boarding party don your sky suits, garments of wax canvas lined with felt to protect against the cold of the sky. Two of the crew are whispering as they dress. What business did Captain Whitlock have in the Blue Kingdom anyway? Why the devil did we trespass on the districts of the dead? You silence him. Now is not the time. The gap between the two engines isn't wide, but the endless fathoms of heaven gape beneath it. We are leaping across the wreck. You jump. Your stomach lurches with vertigo as the stars blaze above you and below. The air of the heavens is thin and torn by unpredictable winds. Then your boots hit the running board of the Ozymandias, and your leather-gloved hands fumble for a hold. One of your companions throws you a line, and you lash the two engines together. Only then do the rest of the boarding party follow you. One of them forces open an exterior hatch, and you clamber inside. Her interior is cold, unlit, and whistles with wind. Your party's lamps spread buttery light over the narrow, paneled passages. You make your way towards the hold, stepping over bodies crumpled in the corner. Unfortunately, your way is blocked. A bulkhead has been mangled inward by a well-aimed barrage. So we have two things we can try. We can lead our party on a more precarious path, which is a Veils option. We can locate a length of pipe to use as a pry bar and set to work, which is an iron skill. Apparently there are about equal success chances, 75%. Let's try Veils. We failed our Veils check, that's not good. The rest of the boarding party follow you without enthusiasm. You recall the first time you climbed outside an engine, helping the captain fix a leak in an exterior pipe. The wind had shrieked, buffeting at you. You asked the captain what would happen if you slipped. You fall, she answered tersely. But where to, you asked? She looked down, then up, then back. The sky's depths spiraled, all about you. Away, she said, and you heard her fear. Back in the present, you tumble back into the Ozymandias through a shattered window. Your party spill in after you, teeth chattering, eyes wide with that familiar terror. We gained 2 terror. That's sucky. You have reached the Ozymandias' hold, a ruin of smashed cargo and spilled supplies. Hopefully, somewhere amidst the detritus, you can find parts to repair the Orphine and restock your stores. We conduct a thorough search. Your companions work quickly. The Ozymandias' hull has begun to creak. Your actions on board may have compromised its integrity. You find enough food and gear to restock your supplies, and enough spare parts to make necessary repairs to the Orphine. The food will need to be thoroughly thawed, of course, but you've eaten worse in the skies. "Oh!" cries one of your party, prying the lid off a long crate. It holds a cannon, still nestled in straw. Another crewman pulls a battered birdcage from a pile of ruined cargo. Within the cage, something winged and furred opens a sullen eye. You examine your find. We got 4 supplies, 15 hull. The Ozymandias emits a long, juddering creak. Your boarding party exchange nervous glances. From the chaos of its hold, you've retrieved repairs and supplies, and discovered some useful equipment, a gun that can be mounted on your locomotive, and an educated bat. Apparently we can do both. Okay, good. Your own weapons were damaged during your flight from the Blue Kingdom. That leaves you vulnerable. So mount the Jerusalem cannon to the Orphine. Do that first. The Cotterell and Hathersage Jerusalem fires single shells to a good range, more or less accurately. You order 2 of the party to get it back to your vessel and fit it immediately. The Ozymandias groans again. The structure shudders spasmodically. The Ozymandias emits a long, juddering creak. Your boarding party exchange nervous glance. Oh, it's the same thing. We will take the bat as well. The bat treats its rescue as an inconvenience and immediately begins haggling over pay. You offer to put it back in its damn cage and leave it on the Ozymandias, at which point it becomes more polite. You doubt it will last. We now have 1 diffident bat. We can try and press further. The Ozymandias emits a long, juddering... Oh, it's the same thing. Whatever. You might find more fuel there, but you better hurry. The Ozymandias is beginning to tear apart. Let's go. The wreck of the Ozymandias screeches as its metal buckles and tears. You press on through the shuddering corridors, searching frantically for the engine room. 49% chance of success on that. Ooh, this is grim. It's 50-50. I don't think we're going to take the risk. It's too dangerous to stay. We flee. You lead your boarding party back to your vessel. Unshackling her from the buckling Ozymandias, you stoke your engines and steam away, restocked, repaired, and rearmed. Alright. Press F to send out your scout. It costs supplies to do so. It never used to. Z-Bats didn't cost supplies before. But we can fire now. The walls of the captain's cabin are lined with a hodgepodge of curios from across the sky. Captain Whitlock lies in bed. Black marks cover her skin like a monstrous brand. When she coughs, coils of acrid smoke pour from her lungs. I'm going to approach the bedside. The captain opens her eyes as you draw near. She attempts to smile. Her mouth is blistered from the blue fires that dance on her tongue. Her hand grips your arm. Her skin is hot as a kettle. Made arrangements. The Orphine will be yours. Her voice is just a rasp of burned meat breath. But promise, she breaks off to scream a word in a language that was not meant for human mouths. When she resumes speaking English, she is weaker, and her request a little more than a gasp. Promise me one last service. Promise. I promise I will obey her last command. Whatever it is, I will see it done. She sinks back, relieved. All in my will, she gasps. Be a better... She breaks off as the sigils burned into her bones flare, glowing cherry red through her flesh and skin. Better captain than I. The effort exhausts her. She sinks back into the scorched pillows, and a twisting, frantic fever. Sailing. We have an engine to command. We take our leave. You leave the cabin and the scorched stink of its air behind and return to the bridge. New Winchester is further than you'd like, and the captain hasn't long left. You gotta watch your heat. You also have to lead your targets a little bit. Oh, come on, stop that. Keep hitting the barrier. I missed. Ah, there we go, direct hit. Now we're stuck in the barrier again. Come on, move into range. Come this way. I dare you. There's another direct hit. There we go, we got it. We did overheat. That's going to cause us some problems, but we won. That's the important part. We can also loot the thing. You approach the buckled wreckage, poised to plunder the plunderers. Behind you, someone is humming a song of victory. So we can repair the damaged Orphine. We don't need to, so we raid the remains. Marauders pillage homesteads and hunt travelers all across the Reach. They often carry stolen valuables. Your boarding party returns with wallets and watches, cufflinks, lockets, and keepsakes. You store them in the safe to be pawned when, if you make it back to port. We now have 37 sovereigns. Now, where are we going? I think we're pretty close to New London. I think it's right here, actually. What was the Z button again? I thought it was... Is it not Z? What's my bat? Scout. F. Oh. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm not moving. I can go in and out of the screen, but... Is it paused? How do I unpause? Is there a pause button? Is it just frozen, perhaps? Well, it's not necessarily frozen, just... I don't know what's going on here. I honestly have no clue what is going on. Pause or resume, which is escape. Okay, we already got that. We know that's the menu. Is there anything else that I need to know? Hold is H. That... Oh, there we go. I don't know what happened there, but now it's back to normal. We found Gabriel's archive. We are near New London. Or not New London, New Winchester. Very strange moment there. I think our goal is to be right here somewhere. We can also map, which I think is L. No, let's light. M. Tab. Tab. Our scout has discovered something. As with all of, well, I guess all of the Sunless games, the Sunless Sea and Submariner games, the music is top-notch. I love the music in this game. Wispy condensation trails across the sky, the ghosts of passing trains. New Winchester, we have found our way home. Marauders usually don't come into New Winchester. Weird. You coast into the bustle, the din, the soot, and the steam of Wolvesy Station. It is clogged with other engines, scrappy mining locomotives from Lustrum Way, weathered explorers gleaming with frost, sleek company vessels with bright brass fittings. No sooner have you pulled into the sidings than a brusque station master bustles over. He requests to come aboard. I must speak with your captain. He insists, brandishing a ledger. The usual formalities. I look to the Orphene's doctor. He has just appeared at your shoulder. His face is solemn, his hat is in his hand, and he lowers his eyes. The crew exchange bleak, wordless looks. The Orphene itself feels suddenly more empty. The station master looks confused. You inform him that unfortunately Captain Whitlock has just passed. Ah, he says neutrally. Sorry to hear that. Very sad, very sad. He waits for what he considers to be an appropriate minute and a half before continuing. Alas, even in the midst of tragedy, the cogs of bureaucracy must turn. If Captain Whitlock is deceased, then the station authority requires their answers from the first officer. He dons a set of spectacles and locates his pen. It will be relatively painless. Name, background, and purpose of visit, etc. Shall we begin? We get to make our captain now. I think, yes. Our background. There are several to choose from. Actually, there are more than I remember there being. Actually, there's lots. Okay, we'll go read through them really quickly, and then we'll pick one. A street urchin. No parents, no laws, no masters, but also no roof over your head, no money, and often no dinner. Freedom comes at a price. You'll begin with high veils, skill of evading and deceiving. A soldier. Yours was not to reason why, yours was but to do and die. You begin with high iron, the skill of confronting and overcoming. Poet, the pen, the ink, the blank, monstrous page. You'll begin with high hearts, the skill of convincing and enduring. An academic, the student of the sciences, the arts of philosophy, which gives us mirrors, the skill of investigating and deducing. You can be a priest, hymns and hymnals, Sundays and sermons, which is high hearts again. A sailor, you roved the mournful, merciless waters of the Untersee. We begin with high iron. A ministry auditor. For a time you served at the Ministry of Public Decency, which has become Her Majesty's preferred instrument. That gives us mirrors. A revolutionary, the world is broken, one way for the rich and another for the poor. You decided to do something about it, and that is veils. I think I'm going to go with mirrors, but I'm going to go with academic. Yeah. Alright. You were an academic. Perhaps you were educated at one of the esteemed colleges of Benthic or Somerset. Perhaps you taught yourself through trial and error and grit. Now we can choose a secondary. We can choose the practical sciences, engineering, chemistry, anatomy, everything you need to break something apart and put it back together again, which increases our iron skill. The language of the heavens. They call it correspondence, the oldest of the alphabets. It's maddening, revelatory, and occasionally inflammatory, which is hearts. Literature. Once the most indulgent of studies, now the most seditious. The Ministry of Public Decency has gutted the libraries. I'm gonna be... yeah, you know what? I'll do that one. Choose an ambition. This is the tougher one, of course. What do we want to get out of the game? What is going to be our goal? We can choose wealth. You want a comfortable retirement, and by comfortable you mean extravagant. Many have made their fortunes out among the stars. Many more have failed, broken and lost in the drifting night. Will you be different? Fame. You will immortalize your exploits in the song of the sky. For centuries people have launched themselves into the unknown in the hopes of making a name for themselves. You're sure you'll succeed. After all, you've never heard of anyone who didn't. I mean, it's a valid point. The truth, even the stars have secrets, but they won't keep them from you. A message from an old friend begins the unwise quest to learn a secret that the stars hide. What drives you? Curiosity? Justice? Insolence? Whatever it is, it will be tested. Be warned, this is demanding ambition, best played by a lineage that has already completed wealth or fame. Why, though? Maybe it's really hard. We'll try for fame first, then. We need better hair. I could go with that one. Actually, I like that one. I don't want a hat. My brow will look... oh my god, my eyes vanished when I did that. Come back, eyes. Oh, I see, they're glasses. Alright. Oh, we don't want glasses. Doesn't matter too much. Oh, it's just sort of like a normal brow. Sure. I guess they're all normal brows technically. But one that sort of corresponds to how I look. So that's more of my nose. Actually, it looks kind of like me. Except I don't have that much hair anymore. Sadly, time has caught up with my hair. I don't have a chin like that. It's kind of my chin. Huh. No. Nope. No. My chin's pretty flat. Just trying to find one that looks sort of like my chin. Actually, you know what? That's kinda... Maybe that's not quite the right nose. No. I mean, my nose does stick out a bit, but not that far. It's not that angled. I don't know why this is so important for me, but I must find a nose that is like my nose. I guess the closest is kind of that one? Alright, good enough. Outfit. What do we want to wear? Military? We can do that. Alright, I'm gonna see if there's any hair that's closer to my hair, but other than that, we're ready to go. My hair's not that poofy. Oh, that is not... Okay, hair one it is. Our term of address will be Captain Eltimar. That kind of looks like me, I guess. Continue. So our starting things are 25 mirrors and 17 veils. And we're trying for fame. 3 weeks have passed. This morning Captain Whitlock received a simple memorial service. Her body was consigned to a necropolis train, bound for the serene mausoleum. Now you sit with a handful of her relatives in the threadbare offices of her solicitors. A methodical notary is reading the will. The captain was wealthy once, but squandered her capital on mysterious expenses before her expedition to the Blue Kingdom. The captain's relatives, from whom she was mostly estranged, are clearly wondering why you are here. We're listening to the end. In a final codicil, the notary announces, Captain Whitlock confirmed the possession of the Orphine was to pass to its first officer. He peers at you with dry, grey eyes. This includes a certain black box contained in the Orphine's hold. Captain Whitlock's final request was that, at the time of your choosing, you transport said box to an address in London. He hands you an address card, and deposit it there. You are not to look inside. She gave no explanation. And that's it, you're captain now. The Orphine is yours. Captain Whitlock's legacy. You can investigate the black box at New Winchester. You can take the box to London, as requested, or you can sell it and be done with it. We've been bequeathed with a large black box, which once belonged to Captain Whitlock. We also got 100 gold sovereigns. The clamouring central station of New Winchester, a place of steam and smut and thundering iron. Here, you can find people willing to pay for a skilled captain's service. The fastidious inspector says, Excuse me, Captain." A woman pushes through the crowds towards you. She is short and square-shouldered, in a neat black suit and polished shoes. She shows you the case of her pocket watch. It is embossed with the crown and hourglass of London's horological office. The body responsible for ensuring time is consistent across the empire. "I'm hoping to book passage to Port Prosper," she says, slipping the watch away. "I can, of course, pay." "Yeah, okay." "Pay sounds promising. Thank you. The locomotive I was on broke down following a boiler rupture. The chief engineer's fault, I suspect. A gentleman fonder of brandy than of diligence. Here, an initial sum to seal our bargain. Prosper lies to the northeast of New Winchester." Note not that there is such a thing as north, south, east, or indeed west out here. Instead, London cartographers picked four of the brighter, most reliable stars visible from the Empress's new palace, and named them north, east, south, and west. Londoners value familiarity. I can see that, yep. Alright, the fastidious inspector has joined our engine, and we have an extra 50 sovereigns. We can hire on crew. How is our crew? We have 8 crew. We are fine for crew. Our locomotive has not taken any damage, and our terrors are at 0 currently. We're good. Everything's fine. We can investigate the black box or follow our ambition, the Song of the Sky. The Song of the Sky looms in your mind, an unfinished monument. Where to begin? Let's ponder our ambition. You take advantage of a quiet moment to pull out your journal. The blank page sits before you, smug and unblemished. The horror. At last, inspiration strikes. You need fresh material. That's the ticket. Go out and explore the high wilderness. Gather sky stories and tales of terror to begin the Song of the Sky. Right. That's our goal. Right now. We're going to investigate the black box because I want to see it. Captain Whitlock left it to you in the hold of the Orphine. Her will described it only as a black box, a description you consider to be an unhelpful understatement. It is a casket of black basalt, longer than you are tall, unadorned, with a single small recess that contains a keyhole. The thing must weigh most of a ton. It stands upright in the corner of the hold where the crew has pushed it out of the way. Let's try to remember when Captain Whitlock acquired the box. It was a subject of speculation among the crew. Captain Whitlock had it brought on board just before your ill-fated expedition to the Blue Kingdom. It was empty then, you know, because you saw the lid and the box carried on board separately and assembled in the hold. It's not empty now, it's sealed and even heavier than before. But you left for the Blue Kingdom shortly after the box was delivered and made no stops on the way. So whatever is in the box now, Captain Whitlock found it in the Blue Kingdom. Let's examine the box. It has the dimensions of a sarcophagus plundered from the tomb of some forgotten prince of Egypt. There are no carvings or inscriptions on it. The join where the lid meets the body is too thin to even admit a knife blade. There are no holes by which light or air might find their way in. It is impossible to see inside without opening it. Even the keyhole has been engineered in such a way as to prevent peeking. The recess with the keyhole, though, as far as you can determine, that is a more recent addition to the box. The stone has been drilled and chiseled away to create space for a modern metal lock. We can't. I don't want to sell it. We can't lockpick it. Well, we don't have Savage Secret. We have not yet opened the box. We have not enough sovereigns to open it. We can detonate the lock with a modest explosion, but we also have no carefully packed crates of munitions. We can sell the box, but we're not going to do that. Let's consider what to do with it. Captain Whitlock had a specific request. Whether you obey it is up to you. The last request of Captain Amelia Whitlock was for the box to be transported to a specific address in London. Alternatively, you could perhaps find someone willing to purchase it, and if you knew what was inside, you might be able to command a higher price. Well, we're going to leave it for now, because we don't know what we want to do with it, and actually, we're at a good point right now to call it a video. There are shops we can go see. We can recruit the incautious driver. We can also go to... I thought we could go to other places here. Oh yeah, here we go, like the market, the bazaar, places like that. But for now, we're going to end the video here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time, and we will continue our journey through the Sunless Skies. I can't redock for some reason. Take care.